Okay, welcome back, lovelies, and we're gonna jump right into it. I'm using my Glam Vice Pastel Palette, and we're gonna use the color white. I needed another white because I felt like it would have been that much more better, but hey. We're going to start off with the brows as usual. And for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. I'm going to attempt to block my brow, just one of them for this look, because I know I'm going to be covering the entire eye. I'm using a little lash adhesive, and I'm taking an old toothbrush to really comb it through because I want the hair to be absolutely flat for this look because I really want to cover it up. And it does very, very well. But if you have a glue stick, of course, stick with the glue stick. After everything dries, I'm going to go in with a little setting powder and a powder puff and making sure that everything is nice and covered. So when we do the covering of the color, we don't have to worry about anything getting so much into the brow and it doesn't disrupt the look. So once we're finished with that, I'm going to start on the other brow. I'm taking a dark brow pencil and just basically tracing the shape of the brow and going in with short strokes and filling it in. If you want a more detailed video for how to achieve daily looks and fill in brows and whatever glam tips you're looking for, leave that in the comment sections because I have videos on that, but I wouldn't mind going over a more detailed video specifically for those things of interest, if that makes sense for you guys. Okay, so once we're finished with that, we're going to take our spoolie and we're going to comb through the brow and take the product just to make sure that everything looks natural. So wherever we have a product pile up, we're just taking the spoolie end of our brow brush and going in and making sure that everything is nice, smooth, and evenly distributed. Do not be afraid to go back and forth to fill in whatever you feel is necessary for your brow because we want the look to be as crisp, as neat, and as flawless as possible. So some things take a little time and other things you can get on a whim, but this is pretty much it for the brow look. And I kind of slowed this part down because for those who want to know how to do brows, that's kind of how I do my brows. Okay, ladies, for the next part, I'm taking a little bit of white concealer or a color corrector, and I'm going underneath my eye a little bit. And the reason why I'm doing this with a small sponge is to kind of set the pace or give me an idea of what I know I'm going to work with. I'm kind of also blocking my dark circles a bit just so I could have everything kind of set in place, almost like a pregame or a primer, if you will, for this look, just directly under my eyes. I'm not going too crazy everywhere else, but I want everything evenly distributed and to kind of give me, like I said, somewhat of a base for the look. My entire face will be painted white when everything is said and done, with, of course, my brown cow spots. But just like I said, just to give me somewhat of a base or a reference of what I'm kind of doing with the look and to kind of take away some of the darkness of my under eyes. As you can see, I'm going in with a concealer by L'Oreal that is Honey in the number 30. Taking that and using a medium fluffy brush, distributing that all over the brow bone and the lid, covering that up nice and evenly. That's why I'm using a fluffy brush, because I feel like that distributes the product very evenly, very nicely, and does give me a nice coverage. And now I'm taking a translucent powder in a similar color and going over that to make sure that everything is set with that eye, sorry. So I can get a nice even blend with that eye look. Basically, I'm going in with a brown combination because I'm doing a brown cow versus the regular dairy cow, which is black and white. And I'm kind of going over everything to make sure that I get a nice even blended cut crease. I have videos on that. So this part is kind of sped up, but if you want to see a more specific and detailed video, you can check out the listing I have on my channel, or you can just leave it in the comments stating that, hey, I would like to have a more detailed tutorial on a cut crease look, and we can definitely make that happen on my end. But I'm just taking the brown, the dark brown from my Juvia's Place Warrior 2 palette. And I'm going the outer third, and I'm going in the V shape, as you can see on my the corner of my eye. I'm just deepening that as much as I possibly can, making sure that everything is even and very evenly distributed, and very packed in with color. I'm taking another fluffy brush, and I'm going in with a warmer shade of brown, and I'm going to gradually blend those two together so it can seem seamless. When we do anything blended or gradient, we want to make sure that we can't tell where one color starts and the other one stops. So that's the importance of blending. That's the importance of having very fluffy brushes, because they help with the blending work, and it kind of takes away the tension and the stress of getting the result of what you want, because the brushes pretty much do all the work. You just have to know the placement and how much of the product you want for the look to achieve what you want to look, if that makes sense. So now I'm going in with the concealer, or the color corrector that I used earlier, which is in white, and I'm just cutting out the crease to make it very crisp and very even, because I want this look to be sharp. Well, I wanted the look to be sharp. I ended up changing the look. I thought I was going to do a more nude or white and brown look, but I ended up going with a gold to kind of tie in the bell I have for this look. And again, I wish I had a white pan or the white foundation from Glitters Cosmetics, or another Snazaroo or Miron face paint to kind of do my chest area as well. I feel like it would have been better just a little bit if I would have did my face, neck, and chest versus just my face and neck. But that's just me. I just wanted to do something cute for Halloween. This is a Halloween look. But of course, if you have theme parties and just feel like standing out, you can definitely use this look pretty much whenever you need to. So I'm going in with my fluffy brush. I'm going in with another fluffy brush. It's good to have multiple brushes, especially for stuff like this. Going back in with another lighter brown color, a warmer brown, more orange, and blending in between the previous red shade towards the end, and I'm going over it, as you can see now, with the third fluffy brush with the gold that I put in the inner corner and on the lid, and just blending everything together. Again, we want to make it gradient where one stops. You can't tell when one starts and one stops. And now we're going in with the face paint. Of course, my face is cleaned and primed before we get to this point. So we're going in with our face paint and a dense foundation brush. I like using brushes for looks like this because, of course, if you know anything about brushes, they give you a nice even coverage, and that's what we want, especially with something like this. We don't want any splotchiness, but it tends to happen because I thought it would have been better me doing it with a lighter hand with a sponge. But yeah, I should have just stuck with the brush. So I'm just giving you a heads up. Just stick with the brush. It just gives you the coverage that you need. I promise, if you need to go over it again, just go over it with a lighter hand. You get the even coverage, nice even coverage you want with the brush. It does take a lot of wrist work because the paint dries kind of fast. And I made a little bit of a mistake. As you can see, I went too far in around the eye, but I ended up fixing it later, and I decided to go in with the sponge on this side of the face, just to do a little touch up after covering with the brush. But I'm just giving you a heads up as a pro tip. You don't have to go with the sponge, just stick with the brush. You will, like I said, have to be patient with this because it dries kind of quickly, so you might have to dip into the face paint a lot just to make sure that you get that nice even coverage that you want. And as I mentioned earlier, I don't know if you guys caught that, there is a cosmetic line called Glitz Cosmetics. They have painted foundations or colored foundations, so we don't have to do as much work with a face paint as you can get with a foundation, if that makes sense. It's not a face paint in the bottle, it's an actual foundation, so it's just as velvety and smooth as you would think a foundation should be or can be. And it comes in multiple colors. Hopefully I can leave the link down at the bottom for you guys in the description box. But you can definitely go look them up on Instagram because I'm planning on investing some money over there so I don't have this problem again. Because I don't know if you guys can tell, as of right now, it's starting to be a little splotchy. Even though I used the brush, and that's what made me want to go with the sponge. But I think I'm just going to end up doing a foundation when I do looks like this because I want that nice even distribution of color to where I don't have to worry about it drying so fast and I can work with it a little bit better. Especially here in the South, the weather here is like one day it's warm, the next second it's cold. 3 minutes later it's raining and you trying to figure out what to do. So when makeup looks like this, it's kind of a little bit difficult because of where I live, but we ended up making it work. And again, I went in with a sponge. I went in with the color corrector that I used from earlier. And as you can see, it kind of splotched a little bit, which I'm not really nervous about because I know I'm going to go back in and correct it and fix it anyway. If you have a pencil like I had it in the NYX Cosmetics pencil in white or milk. I'm sorry, there you go, in milk. I ended up fixing around my brow and around the bridge of my nose and above my lip with that milk pencil to make it more evenly distributed the color. And right now, after I set my face, I'm going in with the brow pencil that we used from earlier and just making spots all over my face to give me the shapes that I want. This takes a little bit of time. And again, as you can tell, I sped this up and I'm just making random shapes, not doing anything in specific. It doesn't have to be super perfect. Some of the shapes, as I'm looking back at the video, I laugh because some of them were questionable. But like this one looks like a dog tag when I'm finished with it. Like the dog tags you get at Lowe's or Home Depot. It's just weird, but it's fun. That's the point of makeup. You could pretty much correct it and do whatever you want with it. But yeah, I'm taking the Snazaroo in brown beige and filling in the gaps or what we have already, just to give me a more opaque look for when I shade in the brow spots. Because as I'm covering it with the paint right now, the lines kind of disappear and it doesn't give me that depth of look I want from an actual cow. And you could definitely go on Google or Instagram, TikTok, and get reference pictures for what a cow's supposed to look like, a brown cow. And you need a little bit of depth. They come in different shadings. The patches come in different shadings. So we want to kind of go back in and give depth to that look. It's going to take a little while. This look took me longer than it did for the snake look that I put up. And if you haven't seen that video, go see it, because I've never did a snake before. And honestly, I'm planning on doing it again because I know I can get a better turnout because I've learned from the mistakes of me just trying it one time. So I'm definitely planning on redoing that look for sure. Exactly when, I couldn't tell you, but I know I'm going to do it again. But anyway, we're just filling it in and giving some shape. And like I said, this look took a little longer than the last look that I did. And I don't understand how. Probably because of the shading and the spots, but it took a little longer, which was crazy to me. Because I'm like, it shouldn't take this long. It's not that serious, right? You would think it would not be that serious. Give yourself a 2-hour period. If you're using face paint, give yourself a 2-hour period. Now, if you're using the foundation, which I plan on hopefully buying very soon and doing a review on, then I could tell you what kind of time frame you're looking at. You're probably looking at a regular time frame. If you do makeup on a regular basis, you can probably get away with what? An hour and 30 for something very detailed. And if you're doing just something very quick and snazzy, like very conservative, straight to the point, you could do 30 minutes to 45 minutes. But if you're doing something detailed, you probably gonna need like an hour and a half, 2 hours. I'm just throwing references out there for you girlies. And as you can see, I'm going in with my milk pencil and touching up those spots that I feel are a little bit blotchy. And I'm not really worried about the brim or the hairline area because we're going in and kind of blending it out when we do our contour and stuff like that. And as you can see, I'm just going back in and filling everything in. Once we get that straight, we'll be done with basically the major part. Okay, now you can see I'm starting the shade. That shape looked crazy in person. I won't say what it looked like, but if you use your imagination, you can see what it looked like. It kind of looks like two things. Like I said, I won't say them, but yeah, it's kind of weird. So I'm taking a little bit of black and going around with the shape and just giving depth to it. And once I add the brown, it gives more of a realistic look for the shading because we did dark to light and we have somewhat of the same hue background, like a brown background, so everything kind of does what it needs to do. You touch it up a lot. I think that's what took so long, the shading part, because I wanted to look realistic even though it was an easy look to do. I think that's what really took the longest for me, because I wanted everything to kind of really look realistic as much as I possibly can. Next time I'm probably going to use a little bit of special effects and prosthetics to make myself look like a real cow. I'm weird like that, but I love makeup. That's what made me kind of want to do makeup, the fact that I knew I could have fun with it. I didn't have to have anything normal or mundane. Like I could do pretty much whatever I wanted to do with it. Only bad thing, Jesus Christ, I had to touch up so much because of that white paint, child. And you let it warm up, like that sponge. I'm using the sponge because I had to let the milk white liner, basically, or white pencil, warm up to my skin in order for me to really make it blend with what we already had without lifting up the paint that was previously there. And then I go back in and set everything with a white translucent powder. That's another thing about being, I guess, a makeup artist, is the fact that I have all my material. If I needed something crazy to get something done, like I have it. Or I know what to do in order to achieve it, if that makes sense. Because I've been doing this for a while. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share, guys. I need you to engage with me because I'm trying to do something with this channel. And don't get me wrong, I know the numbers come when I'm consistent, so I'm not even looking for that. But when I look for ideas of what to do, or what's trending, what you guys want to kind of know, I need you to engage. So don't be afraid to engage for me to know what to do with these videos, so I can, you know, have somewhat of a format and an agenda when I come on here. Okay, I need y'all to do that for me. Like the video. Okay, babies, as you can see, the horns are on. And I'm taking a orange color corrector and I'm using that as my base for my blush, or cream blush, if you will. I don't wear blush. I'm not a blush girly, but for looks like this, I feel like it's necessary because it brings the vision more in depth to life. So I just took one for the team for today. I'm taking it and putting it over what we've already done, which I should not have done. I should have put it underneath before I made the spots, but it's okay because I spread it out evenly enough and thin enough to where I can go back over and kind of basically just touch up. So I'm taking the Juvia's Place Warrior palette, and all the shades and stuff will be listed in the description box below. And I'm taking just that peachy orange shade, a peachy shade, and going over what we've already done. And just making sure that everything is set in place and that it's evenly distributed. And of course, what we do on one side, we got to make sure we do on the other side because we want everything to look symmetrical. And now I'm going to contour my nose with that same palette. And the beautiful thing about makeup, again, is you can go back over and clean it up. So I'm taking that fluffy brush that we started off out with when we started the look, and taking a little bit of that warmer brown shade and kind of contouring the nose a bit. I'm just taking a little bit what's on the brush and trying to blend it out. And whatever I feel is too much, I take the sponge that we used from earlier and kind of blot it out. Because when we do contour, we want it to be noticeable, but not the first thing that we see. Okay, that makes sense. Going in and contouring the face now, kind of making sure that everything kind of blends. And I wish I would have contoured my face before I did the spots because that'd have been just a little bit easier. But again, it's not that hard because makeup is one of those things you can definitely go over as many times as you need. This is what I'm saying. Because I kind of smudged out all of the depth work we did with the shading, because of the contour, because of the blush, I can go back in and touch it up as much as I need to make the depth of the spots come back. So I'm just using the black shade that we used earlier, touching it up as much as I need to redefine the shapes. And then if I need to go back in, which I will, to add more of the color for the brown spots, I will do that also, because it kind of made it muddy to where you can't really tell what's what. I'm also going to use that color corrector on my lips because I like how it just ties everything in together. I think it's a pretty cool color. Would I wear it on a regular basis? I don't know. It depends on what day you catch me on. But it works for this specific look. I'm taking the L'Oreal 856. If you know, you know, the liquid matte lipstick that they have. It smells so good. That particular one is my all-time favorite because it smells like chocolate, okay? No lie. It smells like chocolate. 856 L'Oreal. Love it. So now I'm going in and we're going to contour and bronze the face, taking that brown shadow that we use for the spots and kind of covering the ears and covering along the hairline so everything looks a little bit more realistic. And the horns, I'm going to take that down to show you exactly how I got the horns in a minute. And I know, well, I'm not going to say I think I know. I know I'm going to redo the horns because I know now what I've done wrong or what I can do to improve to give me more realistic horns. I was going for the longhorn cow. That's why I was inspired to do the brown cow versus the regular dairy cow, because their horns are longer. How that be ever, I didn't have wiring. So if I would have had wiring for this look, the horns would have been a little bit more slender and more realistic looking. And I also didn't have any spackle. If you guys know what that is, it's like wall putty for walls to fill in spots and stuff. But what I did have for to make my horns, I took cardboard and made it into the shape. I packed it down with a plastic bag. So those of you who don't recycle, this is why you should, because you can make multiple things out of it. Took some plastic bags, kind of gave me a shape to hold when I use my spray foam, because that's what's basically covering the plastic, and made the shape of the horns. I used spray foam and went back and colored the horns in white and gold on the tips. I think, again, if I was to have wiring, like a wire hanger, it would give me a more realistic look, because I'd be able to bend it to give me more of the long horn shape versus just the horns that I have, which are not bad, but I know I can do better. So now we're finishing off the look, putting on the lashes, making sure that everything is realistic or cutesy, basically. Those lashes just fit this look so much. They're fluffy, they're fun, very volumized, so you notice them, and because my eyes are big, it just makes everything pop. And I tied the horns down, by the way, on a headband with some zip ties. The reason why, because I wanted them to be adjustable, so I can move them however I may feel. But this is pretty much the look. As you can see, I'm feeling it. And again, I wish I would have did my neck area, my chest and neck area, along with my face, because it just made everything go so awesome. Thank you so much, guys, for sticking with me and seeing the look, how everything kind of ties into place. The glossiness, what I used on my lips was just a regular clear lip gloss. I also put highlight on my nose. That is from Juvia's Place. That is the Nubian highlight. It's also gold. So everything kind of ties in. And I thank you again for sticking around with me to see the finish part of this look. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and you can follow me on all my platforms. Hopefully, I remember to link that at the bottom as well. And until next time, beauties, see you later.